This is your WW3 news. I think the journalists are using those who promote the narrative of them EVs are using this crisis, saying, "Oh, the price of petrol going up, the price of diesel going up," and despite the usual jargon of EVs which they want to promote, they are paid by the manufacturers to say this thing to journalists, to convince electro idiots or EV addicts. But the thing is, the cost of charging from a public charging point is going up. I think in some countries like Germany, it will cost 4 times as much now to charge. And obviously you have to be careful of the hidden surcharges. If you leave more than it should be on the charging, they will add 62 cents each minute as a surcharge, and it'll come a nice big electricity bill on your credit card in the end. It's a bit like filling a fuel tank of a car overnight, and you say, I'll go to sleep when you wake up, the nasty surprise. This is basically the same principle, but with a fuel tank, it comes to its limit when it's full. And regarding the latest problems with these EVs at Stellantis, the Fiat Grande Panda, which is based upon the Citroen CV crossover, the electric version, seems to have issues with its batteries. The sun explodes and it only gives you an autonomy of 160 kilometers. Probably not having switched on in your car like lights or car radio or any type of thing which uses electricity, because that runs from the battery underneath your arse. It'd be like Willy Coyote, riding one of those rockets in the cartoons with BB, remember? Or Doctor Strange Love. He was riding a nuclear missile. Boom! It exploded. It's a walking time bomb you got underneath your ass, people. And also the depreciation of these EVs second hand, the instability of the batteries, and the replacements of parts. Even modern cars have programmed in their so-called electronics to be obsolete in one day. It's a lot more faster than you think it is. And electric cars, when it starts playing up, it is a nightmare. Even for your wallet and your bank account. Because whatever type you repair, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money to repair it. And suppose you get one of those second-hand ones, you don't know if it's got a dodgy battery underneath it or it's been repaired, not going by the specific, what you call it, how do you say, standards of that brand of vehicle and that model. It's all snake oil, basically. EVs won't save the environment, and plus you'll be responsible for the battery to dispose it. I made it legally into law, this aspect. So it's been like him getting rid of nuclear waste. It is easy. He exhausted lithium-ion batteries. They're very costly and they're very difficult to make, and it's very easy for one of these units to have a manufactured defect, which happens more than you think. They say it's the software what controls the battery. A bit like a mobile phone. If the software is corrupt or defective, the damn battery will go overheat and it will explode. It won't be a hydrocarbon explosion like petrol diesel fire. It'll be a chemical fire, and it's very, very difficult to put out. And it takes many, many hours to put out just a simple one fire. And the damage of an EV battery does for surrounding vehicles. I remember there was a case last year. We're not talking about an EV, an e-scooter, which by local transport guidelines, when you go up and down here in Italy, you cannot take aboard, probably even on trains, because they know the batteries are not stable, not safe, because mostly these batteries are being modified for these scooters to go a lot more faster, therefore they're not safe. And one of these things exploded on a bus, and by miracle people had to evacuate immediately from the bus. It was in a very congested area, and the bus became a burnt out carcass, and this fire spread to other vehicles, which they became burnt out carcasses. And that's why insurance on EV cars, you should pay more, because it's a liability, because there's a probability they can cause a fire, because these batteries are unstable. And even the insurance companies, when it comes to repair these things, they're not going to repair it, they're going to write it off, and they go upon the value how much the car is worth without a battery, because for them the battery underneath your arsehole in an EV is an accessory, and they don't cover accessories. That's the loophole which they will use to wash their hands on any future claims when it occurs, these things. Which, that's why if you own an EV, your insurance is twice or three times as more. It's only right you should pay more, because you're a liability for the insurance company, and a possibility that may cause a fire in the near future. It can be many causes. Ruptured casing, the batteries itself begins to enlargen. You know, like the first lithium batteries used in mobile phones, which caused injuries to people because they didn't have a protective system like on mobile phones of today in their software and malware, which regulates the temperature. When it's too high, the damn thing blocks. And this should be regarding the safety features on EVs. We hear many accidents. Hits a lamp pole, hits a wall, the battery cuts out, it becomes a death trap and explodes, and it bursts into flames. And the occupants of the car, if you're not fast enough, they're burnt alive. So there should be a lot done in improving more excessive manual levers when it comes to these cases of a fire. The door manually has to open, like in ordinary cars, petrol diesel cars. It's like that. One of the doors should open how many doors it has by law. Seeing it's all electric and electronic, and it all runs on off the main battery, it all blocks, it cuts out the main battery. You should have a manual override to escape in time, but it doesn't have.